Okay, welcome. Thanks very much for coming to my talk on privacy. I am going to take you through some basics on privacy, what it means for us here at Les Mills, why we care about it, and therefore how it impacts all of you in your day-to-day thinking and working here. So first of all, who are the privacy team? So there's me. I am our privacy officer. So I sit in the legal team in the fishbowl, and Monya, who is our privacy assistant, is also down there. And then there's Ant, who I'm sure most of you know, who sits in IT. So that's kind of who we are. So why does privacy matter at Les Mills? So we have global customers, global people. We're a global, there's global legislation, and there are significant fines in this space. So it's actually really important. We are, the Les Mills Group is an international group of companies. So we have to comply with laws in multiple countries, including the GDPR, which may be a piece of legislation that you've heard of. It is kind of thought of as the gold standard of privacy legislation. It applies Europe-wide, and it has a pretty high threshold in terms of requirements. So this is what you'll often hear people talk about GDPR. What it means is privacy, what it means is data protection, all kind of slightly interchangeable. There is growing legislation, however, internationally, as I said, a lot of focus in this space. So we have an updated New Zealand Privacy Act. We have Australian Privacy Act. Brazil actually has a new and somewhat onerous Privacy Act. And the states, in their true to nature form, have got different legislation in each state. The leading one is in California. So it's quite a broad space and therefore impacts us globally, right? So the focus of data and privacy laws is about personal information, ensuring that individual information is collected and used by businesses in a transparent and consented manner. So within Les Mills, we collect personal information about a range of different types of people. So our employees, our instructors, customers, and basically individual contacts within the business that we deal with. It's an ongoing compliance process, something that we need to be constantly thinking about in our everyday work practices. A subject that's also very dear to my heart. So let's get into the bones of, just a basic run through of our privacy requirements to put on your radars. So what is it? It is any information relating to a person who can be identified either directly or indirectly. So this can exist anywhere in our systems and records. You could have some information in one system, you could compile it with information in another system, put it together and identify an individual. That becomes personal information. So we have it in Magento, we have it in Vimeo, we have it in Chargify, Salesforce, feedback forms, emails, et cetera, right? Everything you're touching has got personal information, quite likely. What can we do with it? So where we have the necessary authority, we can process it, which is quite a legal term. This comes with rules and responsibilities. So it means effectively we need to have a reason and the right to process or use it. So then there's another category of personal information, which is sensitive personal data. It's a special category and it is considered particularly sensitive, and it has therefore special protections and restrictions. So it covers racial or ethnic origin, political opinion, religious or philosophical beliefs, trade union membership, health or sex life, sexual orientation, genetic or biometric data. Basically just worth being aware that there is a category there, and if you're dealing with any of it, really you need to come and speak to us around how we mitigate it, manage it, etc. And then, as you can imagine, in addition to that, there are specific requirements around parental consent and processing activities generally for personal data of children. Fortunately, from where I'm standing, it's not our day-to-day, but when we're thinking about stuff in the born to move space, particularly, really relevant. So it's just worth touching base when you're doing stuff there, so we can work in with that. So when can we deal with personal information? Once you've established that you are dealing with or wish to deal with personal data, you need a legal basis for processing that personal information. So really the most relevant ones for us are two areas. So what is called legitimate interest. So this is the concept that the processing activity that we are carrying out is necessary for the purposes of our legitimate Les Mills interests, which is then except where those interests are overridden by the interests of a data subject. So effectively, where someone has an account with us, like an LMOD account, and we've got their data for that account purpose, that would be a legitimate interest. Where we have a relationship with someone, an instructor, that would be a legitimate interest. The second main area for us, and those of you in marketing, this will be dear to your hearts, is consent. So consent from an individual in relation to their personal data must be freely given, specific, informed, and an unambiguous indication of their agreement to our processing of their personal data. It means we can't group consents together, and the consent language needs to be really clear. This is complex stuff. And so, you know, where you're looking at language and you want to change it, we often take external legal advice. It varies by territory to be helpful. So yeah, it's something that you just need to talk to us about.